Hello, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Jacobs, and we will be doing today 2 teaching points. GOMath, Grade 4, Chapter 7, Lesson 7.6. Okay, so the 2 teaching points are I can write a mixed number as a fraction greater than 1, which is also known as an improper fraction. And also, I can write a fraction greater than 1, an improper fraction, and we're going to write it as a mixed number. So first, we're going to take a mixed number and make it equivalent or equal to a fraction greater than fraction. And then we're also going to learn how to take that improper fraction and make it into a mixed number. So like vice versa. So those are the 2 teaching points that we'll be focusing on today. So first, we need to review some concepts together. Remember, a mixed number has a part that is a whole number and a part that is a fraction. So it's a little bit mixed up. So we have a whole number and a fraction. So looking at this model here, we have 1 whole and then 3/4. All right, so it's 1 is the whole number and 3/4 is the fraction. Together, they make a mixed number, 1 3/4. Some examples of mixed numbers. All right, so I know it says mixed fractions. You might see it that way, but it really is mixed numbers also. Okay. So if we look at some examples, we have 1 1/2, 15 5/6, 3 2/3, 10 6/7, 5 2/5, 6 11/12. So all of the above are examples of mixed fractions or mixed numbers. It's a whole number and a fraction combined, okay, put together. So here we're used to proper fractions. A proper fraction has a smaller numerator and a larger denominator. This is the way that we normally see fractions in everyday life, as proper fractions. So the numerator is smaller and the denominator is larger. However, when we look at an improper fraction, it's the reverse. So that's why we call it improper. It's not the proper way we normally write fractions. So an improper fraction, the numerator is greater or bigger or larger, right, than the denominator. And there is a spelling error here on denominator. That should be an I. Okay. So the numerator is bigger than the denominator, and that makes an improper fraction. Okay. So we have a proper fraction and an improper fraction. So just taking a closer look at improper fractions, 8/6. A great way to remember is an improper fraction. The numerator is larger, right, than the denominator. All right, so we have muscles to show that the numerator is stronger and bigger than the denominator. So we have 8/6 and 5/3. Those are what we call improper fractions. So today, we have to take a mixed number and write it as an improper fraction. Okay? And then we will take improper fractions like these and turn them back into mixed numbers. Okay? So let's look at some models of mixed numbers. Okay? So here I have circles that are cut into fourths. And if I look at these circles, I notice that this one is completely filled in, so that's 1 whole. This one's completely shaded in, so that's 2 holes. And I have another one here that's shaded completely, so that makes 3 holes. So that's how I get my mixed number. So I have 3 holes that are completely filled in. So it's 3 circles that are completely filled in. But on the 4th circle here, I see that only 1 is shaded out of the 4. So this gives us the fraction. Okay, so this model shows 3 and 1/4. Okay, moving on to the next, I also see 4 circles. However, they're cut into thirds, so hence that will be my denominator on the fraction, right? So I have to count up how many circles here, because that's the model that we're using, the circles, are completely shaded in. So I have 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes. This 4th one is not completely shaded in. So right now I only have 3 holes, and now the last circle gives me the fraction part of the mixed number. So, which is 1 is shaded out of 3. All right, so it's 3 and 1/3. Okay. All right, so let's start changing a mixed number into an improper fraction. So I have a chart here, okay, as a way to remember the steps. So the mixed number that I'm working with is 4.5. 4.5. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 times 4 is 8, right? Then we're going to add in 1, which gives us 9. Okay? And then we keep the denominator the same, so you just have to copy it since the denominator stays the same. Right? So I'm just going to repeat that. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. The answer is 9/2. So 4 and 1/2 is equal to 9/2. 4.5 is the mixed number. 9/2 is the improper fraction. So we have changed a mixed number into an improper fraction. Okay, so we're going to do some practice together. So I am going to write a mixed number. I will use 5 2/3. Okay, so I want to change this mixed number, and I want to write it as a fraction greater than 1, which is an improper fraction. And by doing that, I'm going to draw the arrows to follow the process. So I'm going to do 3 times 5 is 15, and then I'm going to add in the numerator. So 3 times 5 is 15, add in 2 equals 17, and the denominator stays the same, so that is 17/3. Okay, one more, we'll do 6 and 1/2. So 6.5 is the mixed number, and we're going to write that as a fraction greater than 1, because that's what we call an improper fraction also. So let's see. 2 times 6 is 12. Add in the numerator, so I'm adding in 1, is 13. Denominator stays the same. Okay, so we have changed a mixed number into an improper fraction. All right, so now we have to do it the opposite way. Now, when we are provided with an improper fraction, right, we have to now change it to a mixed number. So with an improper fraction, division is the action. So here I have 13/4, which is an improper fraction greater than 1. So the numerator is always greater than the denominator. Okay, so let's look at how we would do this. So it says improper fraction, division is the action. So we're going to be using division. However, we are going to be dividing the denominator into the numerator. Okay, so when I set it up, 4 goes on the outside of the house. So the denominator goes on the outside and the 13 goes in, okay? And we actually do all the division work. So 13 divided by 4. 4 goes into 13 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. Subtract. So I get 13, take away 12 is 1. There's nothing to bring down, so my remainder is 1. So right now I have 3 remains a 1. So how do we use this division to help us get the mixed number? So the important thing is to notice that each one has a special place. So here the quotient, right, that's the answer, right? So right now the quotient is 3. That becomes your whole number to your mixed number, right? So that's the whole number. So right now we have 3. Now I'm looking for the fraction part of it. So the remainder becomes the numerator of the fraction. And that's all we need to know because the denominator always stays the same. So we get 3 and 1/4. Sorry for the announcement. Okay, so now we are going to do another improper fraction and change it to a mixed number. So let's work with 12 fifths, right? That's an improper fraction. It's greater than 1. The numerator is larger than the denominator. So now I want to make that equal to a mixed number. So the best way is to do the division. Improper fraction, division is the action. Do the division off to the side. So I'm going to divide 5 into 12. Okay? So I get 2. 2 times 5 is 10. Subtract. I get 2. So the answer is 2 remainder 2. Now it's very important, what do you do with this information? So I always circle the quotient first, and that becomes my whole number. Then I look at the remainder, and that becomes my numerator. Denominator stays the same. So 5 is, we're doing fifths. So we are copying that 5, right? So 12 fifths is equivalent to 2 and 2 fifths. And I could always go back and check my work, right? 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12, right? We could do it the opposite way just to check, right? So there we have changing an improper fraction to a mixed number using division. And it's very important to know where each part goes in the mixed number. Quotient is your whole number. Numerator is from the remainder. Denominator stays the same. Okay? So here we have shown you how to change a mixed number to an improper fraction and an improper fraction to a mixed number. Okay? Hope this video is helpful and thank you for listening in.